Hi everyone, this is my official report on the Spring Mingle Conference held at the Decatur Library this weekend, March 13th through the 15th. I'm just getting back from what I think was an absolutely spectacular conference. And I'm actually going to title this video, Releasing Expectations. I want to cover kind of, the events that unfolded through my own perspective this weekend at the SCBWI conference. But I also want to take it the next step and I'm taking away from this conference one very strong insight. And I also want to weave that into this video today for my blog. So, number one, the conference was absolutely spectacular. I have got to say, after being a member of SCBWI for all of these years, it is the best conference I've ever attended. It was not the biggest conference. It was actually the most intimate one I've ever been to, and I kind of wonder if that had something that played into why it came out so beautifully. But I think it's actually deeper than that, and that's what I'm going to get into in the second part of this vlog today. So, Friday, I participated in the Illustrator reception, and I didn't participate in Illustrators Day for my own personal reasons. I wasn't there. I knew that I could show up for the reception and put a portfolio out and get to, kick off the conference basically with meeting everyone and getting myself registered. So Friday was amazing. I really enjoyed meeting the other illustrators that were there. I enjoyed looking at all of their artwork, the diversity of the art. One thing that I did note was my work was definitely very different than anyone else's from the standpoint that I am focused on black and white. I am mostly a black and white artist. It's just how I enjoy creating. And the highlight of that night for me was getting to reconnect with Elizabeth O. DeLumba. She is been by my side through this entire publishing as I've stepped into the publishing world in 2006 after I got published through Red Signet Press when I won their national publishing competition. I met Elizabeth. She was on the board for my portfolio review exit when I left the Atlanta College of Art. Basically, she was asked by the head of the illustration department, Rick Lovell, to participate in our exit. And basically at the Atlanta College of Art, you can pay for the classes and you can pass all of the classes, but at the end, you've basically got to show a portfolio that demonstrates that you have a handle on art as a whole, as a fine artist, not just as an illustrator, but specifically in the area of illustration. And Elizabeth participated in that, and that is when she was introduced to me and also to my books. And I learned through meeting Elizabeth that as kind and as warm and inviting as she is, she's very honest. And, she made some criticisms of my portfolio that were spot on in the way she presented it. It was very constructive criticism. It's one thing I've always loved so much about her, is that she really knows how to aid an illustrator in putting their best foot forward. Basically, she knows how to point out your strong qualities while also letting you know the work that still needs to be done. So Elizabeth and I became fast friends after that and started connecting at conferences. Outside of conferences, I was doing things with her at the Little Shop of Stories in Decatur, which I absolutely love. And she just became somebody that I want to call her a mentor of sorts, because she was someone that I looked up to. She had a lot of knowledge in the industry, and she was very willing to share that knowledge with me. And that goes a long way to someone who is first trying to make their way in any area in life, is to have someone that you can kind of rely on to show you the ropes, so to speak, somebody that you can call upon. So on Friday night, when she came over to my portfolio and she really enjoyed my newer work, my black and white work for my new manuscript, and some of my pieces that she's actually never seen before, it made my entire night. I was already in such a good place with the opening of this conference. Here I was just now getting back into the publishing saddle. I hadn't participated in a conference in many, many years, and it just felt really good to kick off the conference by reuniting with Elizabeth and having this opportunity for her to see my new work. So Saturday, I was absolutely delighted with the content of the conference. I have to say, every other conference that I've been to, some of the classes were hit or miss with me. Some of them I got a lot out of, and then some of them I was like, I could have kind of done without that. Maybe it was redundant information, or the way that it was presented was a little dry and boring. And it's the weekend, so you want to feel more engaged. That's already kind of my relaxation time. So Saturday was wonderful on so many different levels. The content of the conference and what the speakers, the faculty covered in those classes was so current. It was, all of this information was information I really needed. So I felt like the entire day was packed with information that I really needed and really wanted. So the day flew by kind of in a blur. And seeing that I got there at 7:30 in the morning and it wasn't over until 6 o'clock, that is an accomplishment. So kudos to all of the faculty and speakers. I'd actually like to mention the faculty that was there. They were so wonderful. I have never felt more comfortable with a group of professionals at one of these conferences than I did at this one in particular. That was the other part of it that was so magical. It was to the point, actually, and I'm going to cover this in the second half of the video, where I wasn't even truly paying attention as far as trying to impress the faculty members. I was really just connecting with them on a level of loving this industry, loving children's books, loving all of it. And I think that's one thing that led me to having such a standout experience on this one. So Giuseppe Castellano, he was the art director. I found his take on things, first of all, really humorous, which always captivates my attention because I enjoy humor. I weave humor into my stories. And so his kind of sarcastic and humorous approach to presenting the material really captivated me. So I just enjoyed listening to not only his professional advice, but I also really just enjoyed listening to him speak as a human being. It was a lot of fun. I had the pleasure of meeting Karen. I don't want to butcher her last name. I'm going to say Grenick. And she was actually really witty and really funny. The thing that stood out to me about Karen, she's a literary agent, a Red Fox Literary, was her real reveal of honesty about herself. And I feel like she let me get a little window or a peek into who she really is as a person. She wasn't just presenting this. Sometimes things can be very staged and people present just a business persona, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I really loved her approach because it really touched my heart how open she was to all of the attendees and how non-egotistical and humble she is and honest. I loved that authentic honesty, just like they love that in the writing. I think as an author or as an illustrator, we love when we're working with people in the industry that are the ones kind of making or breaking our careers, when they're honest with us, when we can tell that they're really being themselves. So that was the thing that stood out to me about Karen that I truly enjoyed. Meg Medina, she's amazing. She's an author, who, and I'm going to put links to all of them on below this post. Meg Medina has written, she's a multicultural Latina, and she, again, her author presentation had me like that because it was so funny and it was so raw and real. And, I think we can sense that in anyone that we meet when they're being really authentic with us, and they're speaking with passion, and they're finding a way to really connect with whoever is listening to them. So Meg Medina, I will definitely be buying her books and giving them a read. She writes she from picture books to YA, which I find pretty fascinating, and she actually inspired me. I have never felt inspired to write a picture book or illustrate even a picture book. And this entire conference, because a lot of it was shaped and engineered around picture books, I find myself feeling inspired to possibly explore that route in my career at some point. Then there was Neil Porter. He was absolutely a dynamo to me. He just reminded me of my favorite uncle. Again, the humor. All of them had very different styles of humor, but I found them all very inviting because they had a sense of humor about the business and a deep love. He is also a publisher. He specializes in children's books, and the quality of Neil's collection, absolutely, especially today, because he ended with basically how is technology affecting the digital era, how is that affecting picture books, and just looking at the quality and the beauty, very lyrical, simple, beautiful stories, eloquently illustrated. These are high quality books, and again, this really kind of gripped me, and admittedly it jarred me a little bit because I'm a novelist and I've always been geared towards an older audience, that I was literally having ideas flooding to me, and it excited me because I realized I don't have to choose. This is all on the creative spectrum. I can have it any way I want it. So I really enjoyed that. And then last but not least, Elise Howard. She is the publisher of Algonquin Young Readers, and she was an editor at Harper & Collins for 15 years. What I enjoyed about Elise, she was funny, but she was more of the very realistic business side of the publishing industry, and I really appreciated that. And Neil was too. They had very different styles, but I appreciated the contrast because there were so many different personality types on this faculty, and she was very, she gave it to us very real, and that is part of going to these conferences, is getting a real take on what we're up against, and what to expect and what the expectations are. So that's a summary of the faculty. I got to engage with all of them at some point in the conference, and we had a wonderful dinner on Saturday night after our critique groups. My critique group went great. I got wonderful feedback on my new manuscript, and I'm feeling very encouraged right now about my work. Preston, he's amazing. He looked at my portfolio, and like Elizabeth, Preston Scott, he really encouraged me as an illustrator. He did not critique my work. He enjoyed it, and it was very encouraging between him and Elizabeth. I felt extremely encouraged artistically as an illustrator. And so anyway, on Saturday we went to Macon's. It was like an Asian fusion restaurant for the gala. Absolutely enjoyed that. And today was the closing. And we basically got to summarize everything. We learned more about, the ins and outs of getting published, the mistakes not to make as an author illustrator, some of the contract issues that people were having. And one of the biggest bonuses of attending this conference is that we get to submit to every single person that spoke. And most of these faculty do not accept unsolicited work. You have to have an agent. So, or the agents don't even accept unsolicited work. They basically have to contact you. So it's pretty amazing when you think what an opportunity I've been given as an author. Just not only did I get to interact with so many comrades, so many author illustrators, all of this incredible faculty with all of this wisdom and knowledge, but I also get the bonus of now having the opportunity to send this work out to this select group of people to just get their response on it. And who knows what could happen from here, who knows? So that leads me into the second portion of this video, which is releasing expectations. This is my message to any aspiring author illustrators out there. Listen to these words very carefully. The reason that this conference stands out to me is because for the first time, and maybe it's because I haven't been to one in 5 years and I've really grown spiritually, but I released all expectation of anybody noticing me, getting to meet all of the faculty. Will any of them pay attention to me? Are they going to want to publish me? Will anyone want to represent me? I went in with just this love of what I do and this confidence, not that I'm going to be published from this conference, but a confidence in why I'm doing this and the work that I've already created, the journey that I'm on. And I went into the conference with that mindset. And what I discovered is because of this mindset, I actually made more connections than I would have or ever have at any other conference. And that's because I went in with the right attitude. I went in with the intention of purely going to socialize, learn, and really just be surrounded by other people, whether they were editors, agents, art directors, or the creators, the newbies, so to speak, that are just taking a sample and peeking their head in. You know, they've never even been involved in any of this. This is their first, SCBWI event. And being open to connecting with all of them and viewing them all as equally purposeful. So I got out of my ego and I went into the conference with such pure intention. And so many magical things happened because of that. And I have no idea what's going to happen from here. I'm excited to find out. But again, I have no attachment to some outcome from the conference. I just know that this was my next step in getting my manuscript to a home, whether it's with an agent, a publisher, an agent first, then to the publisher. I've fully let that go. And I cannot stress that enough. If you are in this industry, is once you hone your craft enough and you know your stuff well enough, really the next big step is releasing, is letting go, is surrendering that you are on this journey. You're in it for the long haul. You would be doing this anyway. Whether you're getting paid for it or not, you're doing it because you love it. And if you're doing it because you love it, then it does not matter how long it takes. It does not matter who notices you, because you're going to do it anyway. All of the other stuff is a bonus. And if you can look at it like that, this is the real rub with this. If you can look at it like that, you're going to be amazed and dazzled at how quickly the pieces start snapping into place. So I'm going to leave that there and just say that the SCBWI Spring Mingle 2015 Children's Book Conference was the best conference I've ever attended. And thank you to all of the regional, local members that volunteered and that I met. There's too many to mention. You were all just so wonderful and made this experience so powerful for me. So thank you so much. Thank you to the faculty. Thank you to everyone that participated in making this, in my mind, a highlight of my journey so far as an author illustrator. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Please check back on my blog. I will be making another post sometime soon. Thank you. Have a great Sunday.